How is it going, guys? Welcome to the Frank Thinks YouTube channel. What am I doing? Honestly, at this point, I don't even know. But I'm really looking forward to this. This is something that I've wanted to do for a long while, and I'm hoping that you guys can be part of the journey. If you want to be part of the journey, don't forget, like the video, subscribe, comment down below, and turn notifications on so that you never miss a future upload. Now, before we get into this video, you might be thinking, Frank, what the bloody hell are you wearing? That is a very good question. This is a Frank Thinks t-shirt. I got this sent over yesterday. If you want one, like this video, comment down below, and I will be picking one of you at the end of the month to get one of these. I mean, how can you enjoy life without one of these? I mean, it's incredible, really. But yeah, like, comment down below. Also subscribe, that would really help me out if you want one of these, and I will pick a random winner at the end of March. My first video on this channel is going to be about the Premier League. Premier League Game Week 30 starts tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to it. Of course, there are some really good games on, and I'm going to go through each and every one of those games, and I'm going to tell you, it's basically a Premier League preview of Game Week 30. Let's get into it. So the first game is Burnley against Bournemouth. Reverse fixture in December was a 1-1 draw. Semenyo scored for Bournemouth, Broja scored for Burnley, last minute equaliser. I think for Burnley, I think it's too much for them now. I think they're down. I just think they've left themselves too much to do. Obviously, I don't think they've been too bad. Like, they've got a couple of good results. You know, they've had Man United at home, Liverpool away, Chelsea away, Tottenham at home, and they've managed to get draws in all those games, which is quite impressive, to be fair. But ultimately, when you're a team like Burnley, draws are not enough. You need wins, and they are not getting enough of them at the moment. They've only won 4 league games all season, which ultimately, if you're trying to stay up in the Premier League, it is not enough. For Bournemouth, though, they haven't lost since the 4th of January, which was only a 3-2 defeat against Arsenal, the league leaders. So I think they should be very proud of what they've done in recent months, and there is a genuine chance that they could be playing European football next season, which for a club of their size would be incredible. I think the only chance that Burnley have of survival is just winning. I mean, there's only 9 games left, but I think they need to win over half, really. Well, actually, no. It's a difficult one because Burnley, they could win their next 2 games. You just never know at this point. I think they're on 19 points at the moment. They are about 10 points off survival. But obviously, with the teams above them not winning too many games, if they can just put a run of wins together, they could definitely have a chance of staying up. But for me, I can only really see a Bournemouth winning this game. I just think they're too strong at the minute. You know, they've got that Rayan kid from Brazil. He's unbelievable. Evan Nilsson scoring. Krupi gone off the boil a little bit, but still scored quite a few this season. I just think Bournemouth will have too much quality for Burnley. So, yeah, I would expect a Bournemouth win. Next game is Sunderland against Brighton. Now, Sunderland, their home form has been a massive part as to why they've done so well this season. But obviously, they've lost their last 2 games against Liverpool and Fulham at the Stadium of Light. But you can't really ask for much more. You know, top half of the Premier League and above Newcastle, your bitter rivals, which is something that I don't think any Sunderland fan expected after what happened last season, finishing, what was it, like 25 points off Leeds and Burnley, who finished on 100 points each, and Sunderland are above both of them. And obviously, it looks like Burnley going down and Leeds are fighting to stay up. So the season that Sunderland have had have just been absolutely incredible. For Brighton, it's been a bit of a weird season for Brighton because normally they for the last few years they've been always in the top half. Since COVID, they've been like a top half Premier League team, an established mid-table Premier League side, which for a club of Brighton's size, for a team who before 2017 hadn't played in the Premier League, you know, I think they should be very proud of what they've done since they got promoted almost 10 years ago. But ultimately, this season, it's not been amazing. It's really not. I don't think they're going to be getting Europe unless they put a run together at the end of the season. I think for Sunderland, Europe is definitely still on for them, but I think their form recently has been a little bit dodgy. I know they beat Leeds, but ultimately it was a penalty that won them the game. But I think, look, for Sunderland, if they were to stay up, it would have been an amazing season. The fact they could finish in the top half is even better. This is a tough one to call. Both teams, I mean, it was a 0-0 draw in the reverse fixture at the Amex. It is a tough one to call. It'll be a close game. I could see either team winning, but I just think Sunderland, their home form, yes, they haven't won any of their last 2 games, but I just think, you know, with the crowd being on their side the whole game, the atmosphere there is unbelievable. I think they'll get something. So yeah, I'll go with a draw for that game. Next game, for some reason, there are 2 half-5 kickoffs. We've got Arsenal against Everton and Chelsea against Newcastle. We'll go through Arsenal-Everton first. I think for Arsenal, it's I think every game now, They just need to win. They might not be playing the prettiest of football, Arsenal, but they're getting results. And ultimately, if you want to win a Premier League title, that is something that you've definitely got to do. For Everton, though, I mean, I must say, this is not going to be an easy test for Arsenal. Everton are one of the best teams in the league when it comes to away form. They've had some brilliant away wins this season against the likes of Newcastle, Aston Villa, Man United, and they did that. They won that game against United with 10 men. So they're having a very good season, Everton. They could definitely get European football this season. And obviously, because they've been in relegation battles over the last few years, not necessarily the last 2 years, but the 2 years before that, had to survive pretty much on the final day. You know, it's not been a great time for Everton fans in recent years. Obviously, haven't won a trophy in so long. But I think this season, if they were to get Europe, even if it's just Conference League, that'd be a fantastic achievement for them. But it's difficult because I can definitely see Everton getting something because I just think with their away form, you know, I don't think it's crazy to suggest that they could get something. But ultimately, Arsenal have only lost one game at the Emirates all season in all competitions. And that was against Man United, of course, 3-2 win. I would expect an Arsenal win. I would. I mean, I know Arsenal obviously still fighting on all fronts this season. But yeah, I would go for an Arsenal win in this game. I just think they'll have too much for Everton. The next 5:30 game is Chelsea against Newcastle. This is big for the top 4 race. Or top 5 race. Or Champions League race. Whatever you want to call it. Chelsea have just come off the back of a 5-2 loss in Paris in midweek. So I don't think their confidence is going to be too high. Newcastle have just come off the back of a 1-1 draw against Barcelona, which I thought they played really well in. They were really unlucky to not take a 1-0 lead to the Nou Camp. 1-1, it's not the worst result in the world, but they would have to go to the Nou Camp and win. So, yeah, I think they've left themselves too much to do. This game's a bit of a weird one because obviously Chelsea is still going for Champions League football. Newcastle in the league aren't really going for anything. I think they're like 12th at the moment. Done such a good job, Eddie Howe. I mean, this season, out of all the seasons he's been there, you'd have to say it's the worst, but they're still in the Champions League. They're in the last 16, so you just never know. I feel like this game's a bit of a weird one, purely because I think both teams will be focusing on the Champions League in midweek. I know obviously Chelsea need to win because right now they are... I mean, I know they're 5th, but like it's very close. Like it's really, really close between 3rd and 6th at the moment. But I wonder if they'll rest players. I wonder if both these teams will rest players because it's just it's difficult to manage 2 games at the same time. Like you've got to be thinking about a massive game against Newcastle and then a massive second leg against PSG. Whereas Newcastle got to focus on Newcastle. This game is much bigger for Chelsea than it is for Newcastle, in my opinion. I just think Newcastle, their only hope really getting Europe is the Champions League because their league form all season has been pretty shocking, considering how good they were last season, finishing 5th. They could have finished 2nd as well. Yeah, I would go for... I'm going to go for a Chelsea win. I do. I think it's a difficult one to call. I could definitely see it going either way, but I just think Chelsea... This game means much more to them because obviously Newcastle aren't the ones trying to fight for Champions League football in the league. So I just think Chelsea, it's a bigger game for them and I think they will just nick it. I could see it honestly be like a last-minute winner for Chelsea. But we'll see how it goes, but I'll predict a Chelsea win. And then there's an 8 o'clock kickoff on Saturday, West Ham against Man City. Now, it's a massive game for both teams at opposite ends of the table. West Ham trying to survive, Man City trying to win the league. Obviously, City have just come off the back of a 3-0 loss in Madrid in the Champions League. So, again, like Chelsea, their confidence isn't going to be sky high at the moment. And ultimately, their next 3 games are huge. They've got West Ham away tomorrow in a game which they need to win to try and stay in the title race. Real Madrid at home in the second leg of the Etihad where they're 3-0 down on Wednesday. And also, next Sunday, they've got the Carabao Cup final against Arsenal. So you could argue that these 3 games define City's season. I know they're still in the FA Cup as well, but like, I mean, if you're Man City under Pep, like you're not going to settle for an FA Cup, are you? You're going to want to win at least one of the Premier League or the Champions League. But right now, it's not looking likely they win either. They've got to get their act together. Their performance against Real Madrid, especially in the first half, was atrocious, really. It really was. Real Madrid wiped the floor with them, considering the amount of absences Madrid had. It was incredible the way they played against them. But for City, it's all about bouncing back, getting the win. In the league, they've been brilliant. They haven't lost in the league since United beat them in the Manchester Derby, but that was almost 2 months ago. So it's a massive game for City. But it's also a massive game for West Ham. before the FA Cup weekend, they got a massive 3 points against Fulham away. I didn't expect them to do that, but fair play. And obviously West Ham got to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup on Monday as well. So really, it's just about getting results. I think if West Ham could get a draw in this game, that'd be a brilliant result, because obviously Forest have got Fulham and Tottenham have got Liverpool. So essentially, and obviously, so West Ham for me have the hardest game out of the teams that are trying to survive. So really, if you get a draw, you take it all day long, 100%. Um, See, this is going to be close. This is going to be really close. I feel like all the games this weekend will be close, because I think there's a lot of closely contested games. I am going to say that City win, though, purely because I just think they've got too much quality. They've got Haaland, they've got Semenyo, they've got Doku, they've got Cherky. West Ham are doing brilliantly at the moment, no doubt about it. I know they're still 18th, but like 2 months ago, it was unheard of that they would have a chance of staying up, especially after that 3-0 defeat to Wolves in January. It was looking like they were just sleepwalking into relegation. So I think what Nuno's done with them since that game has been absolutely brilliant. They're always going to lose games. Of course, they lost to Liverpool, they lost to Forest, they lost to Chelsea, but they've only lost 3 games since that Wolves defeat, where they lost 3-0 and gave Wolves their first win. So I think they should be very proud of what they've done in the last 2 months. I do think they'll lose this game, but I definitely wouldn't rule out West Ham getting a draw, but I'll go with a City win. Moving on to Sunday's action now. First game, well, there's a couple of games starting at 2, but the first game I'm talking about is Crystal Palace against Leeds. This is a difficult one. Now, I think Palace, I think it's fair to say, are definitely out of the relegation fight. I don't really think they were in it, but I think they just had to make sure they didn't get dragged into it, because their form in the league this calendar year hasn't been amazing. But I think that win against Tottenham away was a massive 3 points to steer them away from any talk of a relegation battle. For Leeds, though, I am a little bit concerned for them. I am. They've lost their last 2 games in the league, and against Man City and Sunderland. It's a tricky one. It really is. I honestly thought Leeds would have been fine. You can't be losing games like that. I know Sunderland have been very good this season, but with the amount of absentees they had, and obviously Leeds' home form for most of this season has been brilliant, that was a game they should have won. And I think if Leeds lose this game, they are definitely in this fight, 100%. I think, but to be honest, I think if Leeds stay up, it's a good season for them. You know, I know they won the league last season, 100 points, same points as Burnley, but obviously a better goal difference. But I just think Leeds have had a very good season for their standards. Staying up is obviously the key. They're in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup as well, but for now it's just focusing on the league. Palace have just come off the back of a 0-0 draw against Larnaca in the Conference League at home as well. Pretty disappointing result for them, but again, this is another tough one to call. I'm going to go home advantage. I'm going to go for a Palace win, which ultimately means Leeds are right back in this relegation battle. I think, again, I've said it about most of these games this weekend. I think it will be a very close game. I think it's funny because the reverse fixture, it was a 4-1 win for Leeds at Ellen Road. So me saying that Palace are going to win now is a quick turnaround. And obviously, I don't think Palace have been amazing in the league this season, but especially this calendar year. But I just think in recent weeks they've definitely improved, 100%. And I feel like Leeds have regressed a little bit. So I am going to go for a Palace win in that one. The next game is massive. It is a massive game in the Champions League race. It's Manchester United against Aston Villa. Now, obviously, both teams going for Champions League, 3rd against 4th this is. I honestly think whoever wins this game will get Champions League football, because I think to get a result like this against your Champions League chasing rivals at this point in the season, it would just be a massive confidence booster. For United, obviously since Carrick has come in, he's done an amazing job. I know obviously defeat to Newcastle against 10 men wasn't great, but the run had to come to an end at some point. They weren't going to go unbeaten for the rest of the season. But I think what United have done and what Carrick have done since Amorim got sacked has been absolutely brilliant. I don't think it could have gone any better, really. Again, they're going to lose games, but if you saw their fixtures at the start, they had to face 3 of the big 6 in their first 5 games, and they managed to beat all of them. So, yeah, United and Carrick should be very proud of what they've done in such a short space of time. I think it is a little bit concerning that the performances have regressed in recent games. They are still getting results, which is obviously at this point of the season, it is massive getting results. Performances, I don't think matter too much at this stage, because I think as there's only 9 games left, a couple of good wins and it could ultimately change your season. It's a sign of a good team that you're getting results and you're not particularly playing too well. Like, I think United's last 4 games, what is it? Newcastle, Palace, Everton and West Ham. I don't think they particularly played well in any of those games, but got 2 wins in those games. So really, for United, I feel like there is a lot of key areas that need to be addressed in the summer. So I think really it's just about getting results, getting Champions League football, getting to the summer, sort out the managerial situation, decide what players you're going to sign, and then you go again, and then you go next season, hopefully in the Champions League. For Aston Villa, I know they just come off the back of a 1-0 win in Europe against Lille, which was a very good result, but their league form is concerning me a little bit. And I actually think they miss out on Champions League. It's funny, I've actually contradicted myself. I said whoever wins this game, I think will get Champions League. But I'm kind of not contradicting myself because I think United win this game. United's record against Villa in recent years has been very good. I know Villa won the previous fixture at Villa Park, but I feel like United definitely deserve to get something from that game. I think they were the better team. Ultimately, Morgan Rogers was just unplayable in that game. Scored 2 fantastic goals, which is ultimately why Villa got the win. I am going to go for a United win. I think Villa, their last 2 league games, defeat to Wolves at bottom, the Chelsea game, that must have stung because they went 1-0 up. And you're thinking, great start, 1-0 up. You go and lose 4-1. The confidence, it can't be very high in the Villa camp at the moment. So that is why I'm going for a United win. And I think it will be a massive win as well because I think it will be a step closer to Champions League football for Man United next season. So yeah, I'm going for a United win in that one. Next game, again, a massive game in the relegation battle. Nottingham Forest against Fulham. Now, not necessarily for Fulham, but for Forest, of course. Forest right now is 17th. Before the FA Cup weekend, they got a very big point against Man City away, which is something that I did not expect them to do, but fair play to them. But they have just come off the back of a loss in Europe yesterday against Midtjylland. Well, I say yesterday. By the time this video goes out, it'll be 2 days ago, but you get my point. I think it's really difficult to call this relegation battle because, as I said, results are the key, not performances. And I think if Forest can get a win in this game, especially with West Ham having Man City and Tottenham having Liverpool, I think Forest have got the easiest fixture out of the 3. But Fulham at home is not an easy game at all. I don't think Fulham have been that good recently. I really don't. They got knocked out of the FA Cup to Southampton, which is ultimately a terrible result considering they've never won a major trophy in their history. But I think for Fulham, European football is definitely on for them. They've had a very good season in the league. I do feel like they are a little bit inconsistent. They'll go on a run of 3 wins in a row, then they'll lose 2. Win 2, lose 3. I feel like they're very inconsistent. And ultimately, if you want to get European football, you need to put a run of wins together. It's a difficult one to call this. I think Forest, is that European loss going to impact them? Because obviously, if you're Forest, what do? Do you make changes when you play Fulham on Sunday, or do you make changes against Midtjylland when you're 1-0 down and you've got to go away to Midtjylland? It's not like you've got the second leg of the City ground and the crowd's pumping you up for it. It's a difficult one. I think for Forest, the key is survival, not the Europa League. Because ultimately, I don't think they win the Europa League anyway. I don't think they're good enough to. I think Villa win it. I do. So yeah, it's a bit of a sticky situation for Forest. I think Pereira's done all right. He's not done amazing by any stretch. He's only won 1 game though, Pereira, and that was his first game. So they got the new manager bounce in that game. They haven't won since. So that is a little bit concerning. I'm gonna go. Do you know what? I'm gonna back Forest. I know it sounds crazy, but I just think they need to respond to the defeat to Midtjylland, and I just think Fulham, they're very inconsistent. And I think if it was at Craven Cottage, I'd probably go for a Fulham win. I'm purely going home advantage, and the fact that the Forest crowd are going to be pumped up for this, and also because their next game is against Spurs away, like in the league. and that could literally be a relegation decider. So I think it's very important that they win this game, and I actually do think they will. I'm going to go for a Forest win. Next game, Liverpool against Tottenham. I think Liverpool, I don't know what's happened to them this season, considering how good they were last season, of course, winning the league. And this season, they're sixth in the league. They're at the Carabao Cup. FA Cup, they've got Man City away. And the Champions League, they've just come off the back of a 1-0 loss to Galatasaray in the first leg. I think for most of the teams in this league, because there's 9 teams in Europe, you're thinking, right, do we focus on the Champions League or do we focus on qualifying for the Champions League? Because the thing is with Liverpool, even if they get past Galatasaray, they've got to face, even if they get past Galatasaray, they've got to face either PSG or Chelsea. Well, it's probably going to be PSG because they're 5-2 up from the first leg. But yeah, it is a difficult one. But Liverpool at home at Anfield against Tottenham. I'm going to say something now. Tottenham are the worst team in this league. And they're getting relegated. They are really bad at football. They just are. They haven't won a league game all season. Sorry, no. They haven't won a league game in 2026. That is really, really concerning. And to put the cherry on the cake, that loss in midweek to Atletico, the goalkeeping mistakes from Kinski, being dragged off after 15 minutes on your Champions League debut, losing 5-2. There is no confidence, there is no belief, there is no mentality in this Tottenham team. I feel like most of them are checked out and are just waiting to get their summer moves, which ultimately, I don't think most of these players deserve summer moves. They've been shit. They've been really bad. So why do they deserve summer moves? Archie Gray, who is 19, 20? He is the one who's had to step. He's one, apart from Archie Gray and Solanke, I think, because Solanke's scoring goals, and maybe Porro after the game against Atletico where he got a goal and an assist. There's no players in this Tottenham team that are going to help them stay up. They've checked out. They've either checked out or they're really bad at football. And ultimately, when you've got a combination of both and also a manager who is clueless, I just think they're destined for relegation. And I think they get absolutely battered here. When I say absolutely bad, I'm not saying it's going to be like 5-0, 6-0, but I honestly think it'll be at least a 3-goal cushion. I just can't see Tottenham doing anything. I've got no hope in this Tottenham team staying up. I really don't. But even if they stay up, it's a disaster season for them. But I'm going to be honest, they probably had it coming. Obviously, last season, the Europa League, I think, massively overshadowed how bad of a Premier League season they had. They lost 22 league games last season. 22 league games. So for context, there's 9 league games left this season. They've lost 14. So the only way that they lose more games this season than they did last is if they lose every game. I don't think they will lose every game. As bad as they are, I think they'll get a couple of draws from somewhere. But I cannot see a draw coming in this game. I think they're screwed. I really do. I think Liverpool win this comfortably. I don't think Liverpool are particularly great either, but they're much better than Tottenham, and I think they will comfortably beat them. And the final game of this Premier League game week is Monday Night Football, Brentford against Wolves. Now, Brentford are very much European contenders. I think the job that Keith Andrews has done, I must say, when I heard that he was being appointed, I said, Brentford go down and he'll be the first manager to be sacked. Because I just didn't see a world where a set-piece coach could go straight into a Premier League job, where the Premier League job that he's going into have been so stable since they got promoted with obviously Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank left, Norgard left, Wissa left, and Bumo left. I just thought it was a recipe for disaster. But Keith Andrews, I think if Brentford get Europe, he's definitely got to be a contender for manager of the season. A set piece. He was Brentford's set piece coach last season, and he could potentially take him into Europe. I don't think it'll be the Champions League. I don't think they're good enough to qualify for the Champions League, but Europa League or Conference League is definitely on for them. For Wolves, it's funny with Wolves. Why can they start playing like this sooner? It didn't help that they lost 11 league games in a row between the end of October and the end of December. That did not help them at all. And I think that's one of the reasons why they don't have a chance of staying up. Even though they're on good form at the minute in the league, last 2 games, beat Villa at home 2-0, beat Liverpool at home 2-1. They're just ruining everyone's season, which I actually respect, to be honest, because ultimately there's no pressure on them to stay up because most people think they're already down. But if they can win this game and Burnley, West Ham, Forest and Spurs all lose, because obviously Spurs have got Liverpool, I predicted them to lose. I predicted West Ham to lose to City. I predicted Burnley to lose to Bournemouth. I did predict the Forest win, but ultimately, sometimes my predictions just don't go very well. Yeah, I honestly think Wolves. It's not over till it's over. As unlikely as it is not over until it's over. I'm going to go for a draw. I do. I think with Brentford, they're a good side. I feel like they've been a little bit of a downward spark lately. I think recent results, they drew 0-0 to Bournemouth and lost 2-0 to Brighton. And ultimately, if you want to get Europe, you need to be beating those sort of teams. Bournemouth, who are also chasing Europe, and Brighton at home, a Brighton team who coming into that game, I think had only won one game in this calendar year in the league. So, yeah, they're not necessarily a downward spark, but they've regressed a little bit in recent games, which is why I actually think Wolves get a draw. Wolves are playing with confidence. They're playing with no pressure on them. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I think they get a point. But ultimately, if Wolves want to stay up, they've probably got to win at least. They might have to win every game. Honestly, they could win every game. It might not be enough. I think they've left it too late. But what I will say is, I think they've just got to try and get as many points as they can. And ultimately, I think they'll be absolutely fine in the Championship next season. I think they'll come straight back up. But yeah, for this game though, Brentford Wolves, I am going to go for a draw. Thank you guys so much for watching my first YouTube video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget, like, subscribe. That would be fantastic. Comment down below if you enjoyed the video, and comment down below what your predictions are for this weekend's games. If you want one of these here, if you want one of these, like and comment, and I will pick a lucky winner on the 31st of March. 31st of March, one of you will be getting. I keep doing that. One of you will be getting one of these. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Also, turn notifications on so you don't miss a future upload. I'm hoping to upload at least 4 times a week. My next video will be on, I think, either Monday or Tuesday, where I'll be going through how these games have gone this weekend. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you soon. Cheers, guys. Thank you.